Most men don't quit because their body gives out. They quit before it ever gets that far. That's what people on the outside rarely understand about special forces selection. They imagine the pain is the deciding factor. The endless miles, the weight on your back, the sleep deprivation, the raw feet, the hunger, the cold, the mud. All of that is real and all of it hurts, but none of it is the true test. The real test starts after the suffering becomes normal, after the body adjusts just enough to keep moving, but the mind begins searching for an exit. There are no cameras out there, no cheering crowd, no music building in the background, no one yelling your name, no one pushing you through the last stretch, just woods, distance, weight, silence, and the slow realization that nobody is coming to rescue you from this moment. Somewhere in that silence, a candidate stands at the bottom of a hill that suddenly feels impossible. He is tired in a way that reaches past muscle. He hasn't eaten properly in days. His shoulders are rubbed raw from the ruck. His knees are trembling. His map is damp. His hands are cold. His thoughts are getting darker, heavier, less reliable. And somewhere in the middle of all that, a question rises that no gym session, no motivational speech, and no tough guy identity can answer for him. Who are you when no one is watching and quitting would make the pain stop? That is what selection really is. It is not just a fitness test. It is not a school. It is not built for men who like to sound dangerous in a room full of other men. It is a process designed to remove everything fake. Comfort goes first, then certainty, then ego, then the story a man has been telling himself for years about who he is. And once all of that starts falling away, only character is left. That's where most men begin to crack. They arrive carrying more than gear. They carry confidence, reputation, pride. Many of them were the strongest in their unit. Some were the fastest, the ones everybody watched during training. Some came from respected backgrounds, tough assignments, hard schools. They show up with scars, experience, stories, and the quiet belief that they belong there. Most are not asking themselves if they measure up. In their mind, that question was answered long ago. And honestly, it makes sense. These are not average men. They have trained for this. They have put in the miles before sunrise, lifted under fatigue, pushed through long weekends with weight on their backs, built themselves around discomfort. They know what hard feels like, or at least they think they do. That belief is often the first thing selection takes from them, because selection does not care how impressive a man looked in training. It does not care about his deadlift, his runtime, his resume, his reputation back home, or how badly he wants the slot. Every man there wants it. Wanting it means nothing on its own. Hunger is expected, desire is cheap. The course sees plenty of both. Where men begin to unravel is in the gap between what they expected and what they actually face. Most arrive expecting a contest they can measure, run this route, carry this load, hit this time, beat the next man, endure enough pain, and you pass. That kind of suffering makes sense. It can be named, it can be attacked. But selection is not that simple. From the beginning, it introduces something far more dangerous than pain. Uncertainty, silence, the feeling that you are always being evaluated, but never told exactly how. A man wastes energy trying to look steady, trying to appear strong, trying to prove something to people who are not interested in performance. He doesn't notice that while he is acting confident, the course is exposing the weakness underneath, because it has seen him before. It has seen the naturally gifted athlete who thinks he can overpower the experience. It has seen the loud motivator who keeps everybody fired up until his own mind turns against him. It has seen the polished professional with the perfect background who slowly realizes that none of his past accomplishments matter here. Not his old unit, not his badge, not his stories, not the identity he built in easier environments. Selection strips all of it away without drama. And the most brutal part is that many men are already slipping before they realize it. Not because they are soft, not because they are cowards, because they prepared for punishment, not erosion. They trained for effort, not confusion. They expected the body to be attacked first, because that would make sense. Selection is harsher than that. It goes after the mind while the body is still capable of moving. It lets a man keep enough strength to understand that strength alone is not enough. That truth hits hardest in the woods. Land navigation sounds manageable when it is taught in a classroom. Grid, azimuth, distance, terrain feature, checkpoint. On paper, it feels controlled. Out there, it feels nothing like that. The ground misleads you? Distances stretch, small mistakes grow legs. A patch of brush on the map becomes a wall of thorns. A hill that seemed minor becomes a slow, punishing climb. In daylight, it is hard enough. At night, it becomes something else entirely. You move through darkness with a map in one hand and a mind that is getting less dependable every hour. Not just tired, not just sleepy, hollowed out. Thoughts arrive half-formed. Hunger comes and goes in waves. The rucksack stops feeling like equipment and starts feeling like a second body strapped to your spine. Every step reminds you where it bites. Even when you stop, the weight doesn't leave. It stays in your shoulders, in your hips, in your lower back, in your head. And in that silence, the mind starts making offers. Maybe sit down for a minute, maybe take a longer pause. Maybe you're more turned around than you thought. Maybe you can make the time back later. Maybe today just isn't your day. That is how it starts for most of them. Not with some dramatic collapse, not with a helicopter, an injury, or a clean reason to stop. More often, it begins with a subtle change in thinking, a small shift in attitude. The course gets inside a man's rhythm and starts draining him emotionally. Frustration, self-pity, anger, doubt, the fantasy of relief. And once quitting begins to feel reasonable, it gets louder with every mile. You see it before the man says a word. His pace softens. The urgency leaves him. He is still moving, still technically in the fight, but something important is gone. He is no longer pushing toward the point. He is drifting toward comfort. That is why so many disappear. And then there are the few who don't. Usually, they are not the loudest men there. Not always the fastest either. If you lined them all up on day one, you might miss them completely. They are quieter, less dramatic. They waste less motion, less emotion, less energy. They are not trying to conquer the whole course before lunch. Somewhere along the way, they understand something the others don't. Selection is not asking for brilliance. It is asking for control. Control over panic. Control over ego. Control over the urge to negotiate with discomfort. The men who make it through feel doubt like everyone else. They feel the fear, the fatigue, the pull to stop. They just refuse to obey it. They don't waste energy being offended by the misery. They don't argue emotionally with the weight, the miles, the weather, or the silence. They accept the reality faster, and that acceptance gives them power. They also stop looking too far ahead. That matters more than people think. The men who fade often get crushed by the full size of the thing, the total distance, the total suffering, the total uncertainty. The ones who last make the world smaller, one checkpoint, one climb, one decision, one more step, then another. They don't need the whole. Weak to feel manageable. They only need this moment to be survivable. Up close, it doesn't look heroic. It looks plain, controlled, stubborn, And that is the truth no highlight reel can capture. Selection does not turn men into heroes. It reveals what was already there. Once pride, image, background, and excuses are gone, whatever remains is the truth. Some men find there isn't enough. A few discover something stronger than confidence, steadiness. A simple refusal to hand over the next step. That is why surviving selection is not really about becoming someone else. It is about finding out whether, after everything unnecessary has been stripped away, there is still enough left in you to keep moving.